All right, guys, what's going on? It's Monday afternoon. Got off work a little bit early today here at the laundromat, and gonna do a podcast. Got a couple things I want to talk about. My podcast host for me and Kurt, Steel Toes and Scoreboards podcast. There's dozens and dozens of different hosting sites. And I chose Podbean. I like them. I like what they offer. They're still kind of small time, but big enough to where they pull in some bigger podcasts. And one of the unique features about podcasts is their mobile feature, which basically means you can record up to a 2-hour podcast right there on your phone, whether you have headphones in or not, which is quick for on the go, which, my whole setup with Kurt is a mobile setup anyways, but this just makes it easier so I don't have to take all of my stuff with me. I can plug in if I want to do something on my own, which is kind of now. And the reason I'm making this podcast is right now is just a couple things. There's things I want to talk about and get off my chest. And it's nothing bad. It's just about my life and where I'm at right now and how busy I am and everything, just so I can have somebody to talk to other than talking to myself. Because let me tell you, sometimes it gets so bad the voices don't talk back to me. And when the voices in my head get quiet, then it gets scary. It drives me insane. But I want to talk about that a little bit and just about podcasting in general. So I'm pretty busy. I work 2 jobs. I got the factory and I got the grocery store. My hours been cut a little bit here lately at the grocery store, which, whatever. We've got more people now. But I'm always there when they need me. If they need me, I can always pick up an extra 2 or 3 shifts a week. Monday through Thursday at the factory. We don't do a whole lot of Fridays anymore. But I've recently, with the passing of my grandfather back in September, that got me back active into being an Indiana Freemason again. And I'm taking that very seriously. I'm attending lodge at a lot of places. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm sitting here out in the van while the dadmobile, while the clothes are in the washer, and it's such a pretty day out here in southern Indiana. It's over 60 degrees. I got the windows down, so right here on a major Indiana highway, 231, you can hear all the trucks go by. But anyways, so yeah, I'm back active in the Freemasonry. I take that pretty seriously now. I'm an officer of my lodge. I've been attending a lot more degree works in a lot of lodges, other places. There's that. There's my songwriting, which completely took a back burner. I opened up last year on YouTube and opened up a page on Facebook. I started songwriting again. I was a songwriter for many, many years. And then in 2013, I just kind of took a break, sold 2 of my 3 acoustics. I said I was done with it. And then, I went through a lot of stuff. 2019, a suicide attempt, divorce, a bad breakup with a girl, and a year and a half ago. And my buddy was the one that got me back into writing. And then I wrote a one-off song, Montserrat. And I thought that was going to be it. And then I did not know it was going to sink its claws into me. And so from October of 2020 to May of last year, 2021, I wrote like a sumbitch. And I've always said, as you guys have seen me play, I am not very good of a singer. I have no interest in being a singer. I'm more of a songwriter. And then the podcasting bug hit, and that took really hold of me. So I put I took the entire rest of 2021 off to be focused on the podcast with me and Kurt. And that's only increased. We are still very much a small-time podcast, but for whatever reason, people are listening. People enjoy it. 2 idiots talking sports, #tits. That's what we should have named it instead of Steel Toes and Scoreboards. But I decided I was going to get back into writing, and I just haven't found the time. And this month is big if you're a songwriter. For those that don't understand, this is FAWM. This is February album writing month. This is one of the biggest months of the year for the songwriter. Of course, throughout the year, you'll have a bunch of RPMs too, which is record production month, which, basically means you write a song every 3 days, 30 days in a month. You do 10 songs in a month. But February's the big one. That's the important one. That's a song every 2 days, 28 days in a month, 14 songs. And I haven't picked up the pen once. I've had a lot of ideas. I've just been so focused on this podcasting. And that's where I'm at, because it's fixing to blow up, at least for what I am doing, how busy I am getting. There's more podcasts in the work. My focus is always going to remain with me and Kurt, with Steel Toes and Scoreboards, because I like that. And the podcast, I've never claimed it to be nothing more than what it is. And it says it right there in the introduction on our Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you find us at, Stitcher, Amazon Music. It says it right there. It says a podcast dominated 90% by sports and 10% of the other stuff we talk about during the day on the shop floor. And that is true. And that will always be my focus, because without Kurt, I couldn't do the show. Without Kurt pushing me, there would have been no podcast. I never would have thought a 50-something-year-old man would have pushed me into podcasting. And now he's, we fired off 2 back to back. We're getting ready to record a 3rd one this weekend. Might be an NBA one. That's what we're gearing towards. But, without Kurt, none of this is possible, because me and Kurt went in half on all the equipment minus the laptop. I got that myself, but we're all in for $300 or $400. We could have sat right there, plugged the headphones into my phone, gave him that. I could have Bluetoothed the other set of wireless earbuds to my phone, and we could have just used a free app like Anchor. I didn't want that. I wanted a little bit of quality. We invested in a good podcast host with Podbean. We invested in the equipment, and here we are. We got a nice setup. But I need something more. I've been trying to figure out what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing in life. I'm now divorced, a father of 3. I am struggling in a lot of ways in life. A suicide survivor, everything. And I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I'm supposed to do on this spinning rock. What is there for me? And then I found it. I am, I keep getting distracted. Sorry. I'm doing, like I said, I got back into Freemasonry. I lost my grandfather, his funeral in September. I hadn't attended a lodge meeting, a regular meeting, or any Masonic degree work in probably 8 years. My grandfather passed away, my hero. I'm a 3rd generation Mason, my dad, and then my grandfather. I asked to take part in his Masonic services at the funeral home. My dad, my uncle, and my cousin opted not to. I knew I wanted to be there, because the first 5 years I was in Masonry, it was me and him going to Grand Lodge in Indianapolis, state capital, going to lodge work here or there. I wanted to be a part of the degree work. The very next month in October, I took off from the store one night, went up there for the stated meeting, wanted to thank everybody for letting me be a part of it, thank for what they did for the family. And I got cold chills now just thinking about it. I went in there, and I can't explain it, but something came over me. It was like I was home. It was like I was meant to be there. It's like I've been searching for something so long, and it's right there. It put me back in touch with myself, put me back in touch with God. Maybe I need to go to church more. That's, we're not going to get into that, but okay. Still need something more. Professional wrestling has been a big thing in my life since I was a kid. Most kids get their first memories that they can, you get your first memories that you really start to remember at 3, 4, 5 years old. There's a couple pieces. My first memory is 3, 4, 5 years old, pro wrestling. It's taking a hold of me. I need something more. I've got real excited about wrestling again. Now I'm contributing for bodyslam.net, an organization that attends wrestling events and reviews shows, and they meet talent. They break news. They report other news that other people's broke. I know the guy that created that. I've known him 18 years. Met him online. Good friend of mine. Known this cat 18 years. He quote unquote put me on the payroll now. So now I'm watching pay-per-views and stuff, getting access to stuff. Gonna get to go meet talent. Ain't nobody meeting any WWE stuff. Cassie's put in a lot of work. He's built this body slam empire up for the last 10 years from the ground up. Used to be called cheapheat.com. Nobody's meeting anybody from the WWE yet. At least I'm not. I'm not on that level. I'm just a contributor. I type up some articles. I interview some people. I review some stuff. Getting a hell of a following on my Twitter account at the Atkins Asylum, by the way. So I'm doing that, and that's great. Need something more. Well, there's the songwriting. Don't really have time for that right now. Need something more podcasts. There's things I want to talk about. So what's in the works now is the groundwork starting to be laid. I had a pro wrestling podcast. I had one. We did one episode, me with two guys, two independent workers, one a manager, one wrestler, both guys from the Chicago area, both guys I followed their careers for, several years, been friends with them on Facebook. It didn't work out. I put it on the back burner. Their schedule is so fucked. Mine is so fucked. We could never get together. Obviously, we couldn't get together in person. We had made plans to once or twice a year to get together in person. I've got that BTA2 adapter that me and Kurt bought. It cost us $50. That was solely bought for the inclement weather this winter when Kurt and I couldn't get together. And it's paid dividends. We've used it. That BTA2 is going to be used for the boys with the Wrestling Through the Eras podcast. We did one episode. I ate the fees. I ate the $45 a month hosting for 3 months, only seeing one episode. I didn't really see a way to keep the cost, and I was tired of eating it. So I deleted the podcast. I saved the episode. I can upload it again. And basically, if the guys ever want to give it a try again, we'll give it a try again. But I'm wanting another pro wrestling podcast. I'm wanting to talk pro wrestling because I'm excited about what's going on. So that's coming. We're going to do that. Okay. One of the guys in Lodge has got me listening to Masonic podcasts, Freemasonry. Okay. I'm really into that. So that's coming. We're starting to lay the groundwork for that. We actually recorded the first 2 episodes the day after New Year's. A week before I got COVID or whatever, a few days after New Year's, then I got COVID the next week. I accidentally deleted the episodes. Was going through my pod track, was clearing old stuff off because I hadn't quote unquote landscaped it, in a while. Cleared it out, all the debris, accidentally deleted it. So we're going to re-record again. We're starting to lay the foundation for that. Then what's coming next? Been talking to 2 or 3 different girl friends of mine, kicking the tires. They all seem kind of interested, but nobody's confirmed it yet. If I have to do it on my own, I'll do it on my own. But I'm getting ready to start a true crime podcast where we talk about one-off murders. We talk about local murders. We talk about serial killers, arson, bank robberies, all kinds of true crime stuff. That gets me excited. And here's the thing. Every field with podcasting I'm venturing is a packed field. But the little feedback I get from me and Kurt's podcast has let me know that people are interested in hearing me talk. Maybe they're laughing at me. Hey, if they're laughing at me, they're still listening. I don't know. People say I have a good voice for it. I don't know. I stumble through the podcast. I say the word as a transition. It feels like every other word. I hate when I hear it back. When I listen to the audio back. When I walk through the plant at work during the day, and there's 4 or 5 people at work that consistently listen to every episode me and Kurt do. When I walk through the plant during the day and I hear it coming from somebody's Bluetooth on their speaker box, it just gives me the creepy crawlies because I hate the sound of my voice played back. But obviously it's working. So there's a true crime podcast going on. Packed field. Pro wrestling podcast. Packed field. Steel Toes and Scoreboards. It's a sports podcast / everything else in the world podcast. Packed field. But we're local. We get a lot of local downloads. Me and Kurt's starting to get international downloads. I joke with him all the time that it's Russian spies and it's spam bots and it's hackers and whatnot. But we consistently pick up a shit ton of downloads in Europe and some in Central America. So who knows? And now another opportunity has just presented itself to me. one of my boys, the wolf pack, there's 6 of us in the wolf pack. One of my boys, 2 of my boys, I should say, they're real big outdoorsmen. They took me coyote hunting with them last year, back in April, March, somewhere around when, the season went out towards the end. One of the most exhilarating, exciting nights of my life. Like, I hear coyotes behind my house all the time. Never been a coyote hunter. But there's something about standing out there in them hollers, and you let out that coyote call, and you hear one of them bastards yelp back, and it echoes all throughout the land at 2 o'clock in the morning. Man, there's just a feeling like I can't explain. Well, these guys are wanting to do a podcast, and since I have the podcast equipment, I have the production knowledge, and I like to talk about it, they're like, well, why don't you do one with us? See, they've got their own thing. They've got brand. You can look them up on Facebook. You can look them up on YouTube. They're called Perfect Stand. They've got kind of their own thing going on. But it felt so great to be included in that. So now we're laying the foundation for that. It's going to be an outdoors podcast about hunting and fishing and trapping and, preservation of hunting ground and wild game management and food plot management, cultivation of food. Like, this is going to be so much fucking fun. So I am packed down with all this stuff. And like I said, this podcast, I don't know how many people is going to hear this episode. This is just a bonus episode. This is just me needing to almost essentially just talk to myself, because the talking inside my head's not working, because I need to try to make sense of all this and line all this out of what's going on. And I say all this while all this is going on, while I'm in such a scary, trying time in my life. A lot of people have asked me, I've been posting on social media a lot lately, and I hashtag a lot of posts. I get told all the time I'm the king of vague booking. I've tried not to vague book. I put some shit out there, but also at the end of the day, I'm still a semi-private person. So I get asked what the hashtag Trust Fall Jesus meant. This Trust Fall Jesus means me taking my life back. It means I'm leaning back. Jesus is I hope he can catch me. This is a whole lot of ass to catch. I'm in a point of financial ruin for a lot of things that happen. And it's funny, I never had a credit card in my life, but I had so much medical debt and debt from this and debt from that and a lawsuit from this and everything I ever worked for. 10 years ago, my credit score was damn near 800. And it just progressively got worse. And I kept trying to hold on and fix things because, who I am and my word and my bond was my bond. It meant a lot to me. I made these commitments. I'm going to make these payment arrangements. I'm going to honor this. And at some point, you have to realize and have to learn that it's okay to cut your losses. And honestly, now that I'm removed from this, I see that holding on to certain things instead of letting go sooner fucked me. And that's fine. I'm okay with that now. But I'm not going to come right out and say it, don't throw a strike, but, paint the corner with your pitches. You don't come right down the middle and just throw a strike. So you can formulate your own opinion on what I'm talking about. I'm not going to come right out and say it till it's over with. But I've put in place some procedures, and I'm involved in some things now that's going to help me get my life back and get a restart on some things. And like I said, it should be pretty obvious what's going on, but my favorite analogy for a lot of things in life, you never throw a strike down the middle, you paint the corner with your pitches. But I'm in the process of taking my life back, and all this weighs on me as I continue to get older and get older. People tell me I'm freaking out all the time. I'm going to be 35 years old this summer. August 5th of this summer, I'll be 35 years old. I've been out of school since May 2006, and I look at my life like, what happened? Like, this wasn't supposed to be my life. Like, I was so fucking fat and huge in high school. I lost so much weight. Then a little bit of it packed back on, and I leveled out. Was holding steady around 300 pounds, 315, 320, after I'd already lost from over 400 pounds. And then 8 years ago, I ballooned back up to over 400 pounds. And at my heaviest in the summer, fall of 2018, I'm almost 470 pounds, 480 pounds. And now I'm down to, 360, 370. So my weight fluctuates. I tell everybody, stress and divorce, it's a hell of a diet plan. You ought to try it. Stress, divorce, suicide attempt. Then I made the joke that, if I only had a bag of Crystal, I could probably lose another 100, but, whatever. That's never been my thing. But, I guess where I'm at in life now, too, is I'm at the point now where I'm tired of being alone. But at the same time, I have so much going on that I want to do, things that are making me happy, like all the podcasts, the songwriting, contributing for Body Slam, and my weekends with the kids. I look forward to the weekends with the kids so much. I didn't see him for 2 weeks in a row there. COVID and then I had strep right after COVID. It killed me. So when I finally got him, I told her I'd keep him 2 weekends in a row. And it was amazing. It's such a good time. My middle one and I just had the daddy-daughter dance 2 weekends ago, and it was the most wonderful time I've had in a while. But I'm also tired of being alone, but I'm at the point now where it's just, I don't think I can have a relationship. I have so much going on that I would not be able to commit to a relationship and give somebody the attention they deserve, because I feel like that would be the very last piece of me that I'm giving away. Now, granted, I'm setting myself up into these situations. I could be working towards a burnout, but I don't see it yet. There's a way to make all these recording schedules happen. You could record some on the spot twice a month. You could, like me and Kurt usually do every other weekend. That will never change. But, like this podcast, the Outdoors podcast is coming. Me and the boys could block out an entire Saturday afternoon, record 5-6 episodes, and I could release them at random intervals. And then that way, when we got one left in the can, we turn around, we record another 5, There's ways to make this work, but with all this stuff that I'm doing, and it is bringing a smile to my face in some aspects, if I take that away, and then I'll have nothing left for myself. And I feel like I have to have one piece of myself left. I have to feel like I have to take, like right now, with all I'm doing, contributing for Body Slam and the work and the jobs and the podcast research. I put a lot of effort into this podcast with me and Kurt, the same as I will with the others. It takes a lot when you're working 10 hours a day or, 15 hours a day if you're at the other job. It takes a lot when you are when you're researching these notes. It takes a lot for me to type these notes up. Kurt doesn't have access to a computer. Kurt's not very tech savvy. Kurt's input and his analysis of things is so valuable to this team that I give Kurt 2 very simple jobs. That's all he has to do. Watch film on YouTube of whatever we're talking about. Read some articles. That's it. I don't want Kurt in charge of the research and the data and all that. That's me. And I geek out over that. But I want it done a certain way. And I know that, but he brings so much to the table in other ways. Like this past Friday, we did just a one-off kind of episode, an hour long, about Ruby Ridge. I couldn't get a hold of Kurt. He overslept. I went ahead, put it in the can, did it myself. It sucked because there was nobody there to go over it with or no feedback, but I made it through. And I don't want to do any of these episodes by myself, but if I have to, starting out, I will. Like I said, I really want to do this true crime podcast with a female. I have 3 female friends I'm very close with. None of them know each other. They've all expressed interest, but it's just a matter of making it work, seeing who wants to be committed. And hell, eventually we could have, 4 mics set up instead of 2, whatever. we'll make it work. And like I said, you guys that are listening to this, I'm really sorry. In a way, this was just me getting some things. This was just me putting it to where I could hear myself talk about it instead of just thinking about it and getting it out there and just talking a little bit about what's going on with me. And I do want to thank everybody that has expressed interest in this Steel Toes and Scoreboards podcast with me and Kurt. I wish we'd get more feedback. A lot of times all we get was, hey man, listen to the episode, it was pretty good. Or hey man, check it out. Never get any more constructive feedback, but I'm grateful just to have a thumbs up from somebody. I'm grateful to have people that check it out. We get certain areas we get blown the fuck up at. The state of Ohio, I don't know who is out there. Kurt said he's got some family out there. I'm assuming where that comes from. State of Ohio loves us. Indiana, everybody's local. They know us down here. Maryland, I don't know who I've known in Maryland. When these episodes go live, I put it out there across Twitter and Facebook. Somebody in Maryland loves the shit out of us. Somebody in Canada too. Pick up a lot of downloads in Canada. So, but anyways, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to all you guys. I really, really appreciate it. Get distracted again. Squirrel. I couldn't find my cigarette lighter. So. But yeah, that's just going on with me. I am a busy, divorced, single father. A guy that wants a relationship at some point. He's tired of being alone. But a guy that's also starting to realize that right now I probably don't have the time unless I'd find a woman who's very understanding and committed to helping me. But, But yeah, that's what's going on in the can. Laying the foundation for 4 more podcasts to go along with them. So that's 5 podcasts. That's a pro wrestling contributor and reviewer. That's 2 jobs. That's songwriting. And that's being an active member of the Indiana Freemasons. So a lot to do. I don't probably think I could take anything else on at this point. But this has become a hobby that's become a passion. I like it. It's a 7-day-a-week job trying to build the brand and get your name out of there and get recognition. And it's hard, but I'm trying. I could probably try a little harder sometimes, but I don't. Probably need to. But, like I said, for everybody out there that's listened to this boring bonus episode, I appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. And, yeah, I think that about wraps it up. I'm a busy guy, but, I'm a busy but 80% happy guy. Maybe 75 on a bad day. So, not quite all the way there, but anxious to see what happens the rest of the year with all these podcasts and how I can get it built. And cannot wait to see what's coming. I told Kurt next year we're going to Texas for the big podcast convention they have every year down in Dallas. I've never been to Dallas. Kurt's been. He was all excited. He said, we can't go to that. We're so small time. I said, you wouldn't believe the number of small time podcasts that are there. But there's heavy hitters there too. We ain't Joe Rogan. But by God, maybe one day. I probably shouldn't say that. Joe's under a lot of fire right now. What's another big time podcast? We're not a big time podcast, but we're there. We'll fix it that way. So, but all right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode and this brief half-hour bonus episode. And we will catch you later. This is different. I'm not doing this on my phone. I'm going to try to play some music here, see if it works. Oh, there it goes. It's a pretty nifty little feature, guys. So, I kind of like this. This is great for on the go. Alright, guys. I'll catch you later.